I'm a 20-year-old small female, barely 5 foot and 120 pounds. About a year ago, I was home alone. My sister was out with some friends, and my mother had a night shift. It was about 1 a.m., and I was trolling on creepypasta, so I was already a bit freaked out. I have 2 dogs, one big German Shepherd we actually trained to be on her guard, and a golden retriever. We have one small window facing the street, and we roll down the roller blind when it gets dark, but leave a small space open for the dogs so they can watch the street. This area isn't the best one in town, but if you live there, people look out for you. You're one of them. Strange people tend to avoid our part, so I thought it was quite strange what happened that night. Suddenly our shepherd starts going mad, barking and running around. Since she always does this when someone walks by our house, I didn't think anything of it and continued feeling my adrenaline rush. But after a while, even our golden retriever got uneasy, and I felt something wasn't right. But I just wrote it off because I was reading creepypasta the whole night. Suddenly the doorbell rang. I was about to walk towards the door and open it, as I knew my sister was supposed to get home any minute. But she always knocked on the window and would show her face, so I knew something wasn't right. Instead, I walked towards the window and opened the curtains. I could make out a figure, but he had stepped in the shadow so I couldn't see his face. Once he saw me, he started waving at me. I frowned at him. "Can I help you?" I asked. After he hesitated, he walked towards me. "Can you open the door?" he asked. "Why? I can hear you just fine through the window," I said, while looking at him. He looked pretty familiar, but I can't exactly remember how he looked. I remember he was an older man. He wore an old worn cowboy hat and leather jacket and jeans with holes in them. He was clean though, and he wore glasses and had short gray hair and was smoking a cigar. "I'm looking for friends of mine. They recently moved here. They have 2 kids, but I don't know where they live," he said. I looked at the clock and saw it was pretty late. "Look, sir, I just recently moved here, so I don't know everyone yet. There are a lot of couples with kids. What are their names?" I asked. "I don't know." I stared at him and my eyebrows rose. "Sir, I highly doubt a couple with kids, people whose names you don't even know, would want you to come knocking at their door in the middle of the night. I think it's pretty inappropriate that you rang my doorbell. Do you have any idea how late it is?" He shrugged and asked me to open the door again. "No, I will not. I want you to leave right now," I said. I was getting kinda panicky. I was home alone and I just wanted him gone. He left after that. I got my mom's mace. I was pretty freaked out, but I went back to creepypasta reading. And after a while, I had gotten thirsty, so I got up to get something to drink, and something caught my eye. He was looking at me, crouched down so he could look through the window. My eyes widened, and I yelled out, "What the fuck?" I walked towards him and opened the curtains again. "Look, mister, I have a dog in here that will bite your ass. I'm not asking politely anymore. I want you to leave now, or I will call the police." He just looked at me and smiled. I really wanted him gone now, and I was getting quite angry. I did not respond well when I was scared. When choosing between fight or flight, I always lash out and fight. My sister was due to be home any minute now. I quickly called her, while he was just standing there looking at me, and explained to her what happened. After a while, I saw him walking away, and I kept looking at him until I couldn't see him anymore. Her friend was bringing her home, and she was nearly there. I was waiting by the door. I saw her stepping out of the car, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the creep. My heart dropped to my ass, and I got so angry. I saw him starting to run fast towards my baby sister, and I pulled open the front door and ran towards her on my bare feet, mace in hand. The moment he reached her, I sprayed him in the eyes. "I swear to God, the next time I even see you in this street again, I will make sure you will breathe for the rest of your life through a straw." I was seething, quickly pulled my sister inside and locked the door. I texted my mother what happened, but because she was working, she didn't see the text until the next morning. Maybe it wasn't wise that I sprayed him or yelled at him. The thing I was thinking was that he was way too close to my 18-year-old sister. After that, we never saw the man again. So my girlfriend and I got a motel for 2 nights. It was not the best motel, and not on the best side of town, but it was cheap, so it worked for us. I was 20, and she was 19 at the time. Anyways, the first night went fine. However, the second night, things started to get strange. At about midnight, there was a banging on the door. I looked out the peephole to see a scraggly-looking shorter white man standing outside my door, with jeans on and no shirt. I was probably on drugs or something, and was probably banging on everyone's door for whatever reason. Whatever, I'm tired. Time to go to sleep. Then about 2 a.m., as my girlfriend and I are starting to fall asleep, I think I hear the man say something outside. "You and your girlfriend are gonna die tonight." Now, I tried to trick myself into thinking that I didn't really hear this. I mean, why would some random stranger say this? How did he even know I had a girl in the room? Had he been watching us earlier? All these thoughts are going through my mind while my girlfriend is asleep. My girlfriend's name is Jane. I don't want to disturb her, but at this point I'm feeling pretty nervous, so I nudge her awake. I said quietly, "I think that guy is still outside." She is half asleep and thinks I'm being paranoid. He begins to knock on the door again. Alarmed, we get up to look through the peephole. This time he is standing in front of our door, but looking the opposite directions with his hands behind his back, almost militaristically. I began calling the police from the motel phone. Jane thought I was overreacting, but I was too afraid not to call. I told the police about the man, and they said they would send somebody out. I called the lobby and told them as well, but they said they couldn't do anything and I should call the police. Sure enough, about 10 minutes later, actually a pretty decent response time, a police car rolls through the parking lot. Then they leave. What the fuck? They must not have seen the guy. Great. Now this guy starts talking more craziness outside. He says stuff along the lines of, "Man, you called the cops? You're a fucking pussy, man. I'm gonna kick your ass." But he stopped shortly after, and we didn't hear anything from him for another 10 through 15 minutes. Then again, outside I hear him say, "You and your girlfriend are gonna die tonight." Jane heard him this time as well, and she was instantly on my level of terrifiedness. And she hadn't heard this before, and insinuated I was over paranoid or hearing things. She insisted we call the police, and this time, I let her talk to them. She was much more shooken up on the phone and conveyed a necessary sense of urgency I wasn't capable of. Again, a police cruiser comes through the parking lot. I see the car is about to leave again. Pissed off, I walked outside to the cruiser. I felt safe enough to walk outside since the police were right there. I asked why they were leaving, and they said that they talked to the guy, but he wasn't doing anything obviously criminal, so they couldn't do anything about it. The officer said he was messing with the air conditioner to our room. I explained to the officer the comments we heard this man making about killing us, but again, he told me there was nothing he could do. What the fuck, right? So the cops leave. Again. They leave me and my girlfriend alone at this motel with this crazy asshole for the second time. Now he is really pissed, and must have seen me talking to the cops. Again, he's knocking on our door, calling me a pussy, saying he's going to kick my ass. So I call the cops for a third time. About 15 minutes later, I heard the sound of handcuffs outside my room. I had never felt so relieved. I don't know what happened and why they finally decided to arrest him. I'm just glad that they did. I could hear him saying, "What did I do? I didn't do anything," while they were cuffing him. As soon as the police were gone, my girlfriend and I left the motel. Luckily, my friend was awake at 4 a.m. when I called him, and we crashed at his house for the night. When we were pulling out of the motel parking lot, I could see the man in the back of the police car looking at me. It was the deadest look I have ever seen. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. So that first story, that is an ideal way to deal with a situation like that. Do not open the door for some weirdo in the middle of the night. And always grab a weapon. That mace was perfect. And always notify family members that might be coming home, because you never know when a weirdo's going to be waiting. Props to you, and it's a good thing you sprayed the mace. So the second story, you would think the cops would stop the guy originally, because I would think playing with someone else's air conditioner is illegal, as well as threats. Both those seem illegal to me, but I'm not an officer of the law. At least they came back for the third time and got the guy, but even so, it could have been avoided on the first or the second. In fact, I really think they should have done it on the second one, when they saw the person messing with an air conditioner that didn't belong to them. That just screams illegal to me. I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and let me know down in the comments what you think of this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early for another video. And just remember, it's always scarier if it's true.